Hello, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be ranking the Red Rangers. Now, this is my opinion, this is what I think, therefore if you disagree with it, that is absolutely fine, but don't be going off in the comments and having a go at me and calling me names because I've not given the right reasons or anything like because you disagree with me. Just throwing it out there. But if you like this sort of content and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as the cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. So how is this going to work? I am going to be doing from amazing, A, B, C, D, and then not so amazing. So I kind of really wanted to kind of throw it out there and then kind of like give my reasons why on this. Again, if they are very different to yours, let me know in the comments, be respectful. If not, I'll be a dick to you. Just throwing it out there. Let's jump in. Let's go with Jason. Now, I'm giving Jason an A because I like him as a character, but you don't see that much character development for a while. I also kind of think that if you're going to be the leader of the Power Rangers and then Zordon later comes and goes, oh, the White Ranger is going to be the leader, you kind of would put up a bit of a fight a little bit and be like, hey, not so much. But through the series, like, I really did like Jason. I thought that his leadership skills were good, but I do think at times where I got very bored of the character all the way through Mighty Morphing from when he was in. When he came back as the Zeo Ranger, Zeo Gold, damn, amazing. But for me, Jason, I think, does like kind of get an A. Now, Rocky, not so amazing because I think he comes out in his own as Zeo Blue. I don't see him as a Red Ranger because I feel like when he came in, he was majorly shadowed over by Tommy, and that's okay. But I generally kind of think that like he wasn't his own Ranger. He could have been more, but I think the way that he kind of was written at the time wasn't that great. So I'm not a big fan of him at all. Okay, so Tommy as Zeo Ranger, I'd give him an A. As Zeo Red, he was a great leader at that time, and I think that we saw more kind of growth within that character as he grew, as in like through the series. We'd already gone through obviously Mighty Morphing, so he knew exactly what he was like, and you all kind of know about him. So I feel like he was that leader, he was that person that you could resemble and be like, hey, I really like this, you know, please be my leader in this one. But I feel that he wasn't that great in Turbo, which we're going to do. So it's very hard because there isn't another picture of Tommy in this one. So Tommy gets bumped down to a C. Now, the only reason that I find this is like in the very beginning of Turbo. So he's already graduated and he's off doing his own thing. Now, to me, this wasn't how Tommy was. I feel that Tommy would have fought to graduate with his friends, that he would have got stuff, not, oh, he picked up his diploma, and now he's a race car driver, and now, out of nowhere, he's really into racing. Like, you didn't see it in Mighty Morphing, you didn't see it in Mighty Morphing, and you didn't see it in Mighty Morphing, and you didn't see it in Zeo. But it feels like Tommy's character just shifted so down that, you know, he still had that element of like, yeah, cool, but I feel like his characteristics changed. I see a lot of I see a lot of this in Tommy. So he gets demoted to C. Okay, so TJ, I really like TJ. So he gets an A, and I feel like he had a lot to kind of deliver because everyone was so focused on Tommy. But I feel like he went above and beyond. He went way higher than most Rangers, and you know, him leading the team was perfect. I enjoyed watching more episodes that he was in, and especially in space, because I felt like he was a well-grounded character and he knew exactly what to do, and he didn't let the power go to his head. You know, he listened to his team, and he comes out with that whole thing of the two lines like, I'm going to toss your salad, and then, do you remember the time I got baked in a giant pizza? So I think that he deserves an A because he is a very good Ranger in my eyes. Okay, so we've got the Alien Ranger. I'm going to put him as not so amazing because I feel like the Alien Rangers could have had their entire season. It felt like they didn't get much kind of you didn't see much about them that way. Like, they were there. That was it. They were just there to serve a purpose. Like, you are a ranger. You are going to defeat these bad guys. And I feel like the story for season 3 could have been so much better in my eyes. Like, it could have been longer than like 13 episodes or something like that. But I feel like you didn't really get to see him at all. Like, it was just literally, you had Delphine and she was there. She was like, yeah, and that was it. That's all you saw of him. Okay, so who is next? Andros. I'm going to give Andros... I want to give him an amazing, but I'm going to give him an A. Only because you see in this is that you see a lot of character growth all the way through the series. You know, you're fighting the forces of evil, and then all of a sudden you see these like 4 people turn up on your ship, and you're like, holy crap, and you have to adjust. And I feel that character development was great from when you saw it from the beginning to the end, where he was more kind of like lovable and type thing where you could like relate to him. But I think at the very beginning he was a massive dick, and that kind of brings it down a bit. I like him as a character. I think he is great, and I think that he did save the franchise. Him and the rest of the Rangers did save the franchise. But I feel like you see a lot of like, he only thinks about his sister. He's like, we gotta go find a strongman. We gotta find her. And a lot of people, even though later on when it comes to Troy, like bag on Troy for talking about Robo Knight, he only talks about it for like 3 episodes, where Andros is constantly talking about his sister. And I feel that to me it was okay, but it felt way too much on that one. Like, they could have pulled back, but I still think he is a great ranger. Okay, so Andros, Leo, I'm going to give him a C because from what I saw, I didn't like. I feel like he was the hunk of that series, because like literally out of nowhere, I've never seen another ranger rip his shirt off to show the muscles. If I'm wrong, please let me know down below in the comments. But for me, I wasn't a huge fan of his character. I found him quite bland. I am going to be rewatching Lost Galaxy, but I just didn't kind of like when I think of the Rangers, I'd say like Yellow Ranger would stick in my head a lot more, or the Green Ranger, that would kind of like stick in my head a lot more. So I'm not a huge fan, so he gets a C. So next we have Carter. Carter I'm going to give a B because I feel like he was the sort of character that everybody wanted. He looked after his team, he made sure, but he also did it in a military type of way, which you've never really seen until this point any of the other Rangers do. And he was kind of squeaky clean. Like, you know, you could turn around and he would never say boo to a goose. Like, he would never scream, he would never be angry. He'd be the type of ranger that if you did something wrong, he'd come on, put his hand around you or on your shoulder and go, I'm disappointed, but I know you did right. And I think that kind of sets in a lot more. So for me to do that one, I think Carter deserves a B. Okay, so Time Force, Wes. Wes, I'm going to give a B as well. Is I like him. I feel like obviously he had to play as Alex, so I'm not going to count Alex. I really wish Eric was in this as well. But with Wes, I feel like he went from like being a party boy to being a well-rounded character. And the fact is, at the very end of Time Force, where he sacrifices himself with Eric, where he has to defeat the Quantrons and stuff, where he has to defeat them all properly, I feel like you see a lot of character development. And I think that Wes also really cared as well, and that kind of really boosted it up for me to the point where I was like, hey, you are a good character. You've gone from this whole like thing where everyone thinks like, oh, you just spend your dad's money. And I think like the elements where you see at the very end, I think like with Wes's dad and stuff, where he was willing to step up straight away, give up what he loved so he could carry on with his father's business and so on and so on. And he had to make some really tough decisions. So with that, Wes gets a B. Like Cole, not so amazing, because with all the other Red Rangers so far is that you see a connection with all the Rangers. Like, you know, you can like say, yes, that's me. That's, you know, I can see myself in that Ranger. But I never did with Cole. Like, I feel like his character there was the whole, oh, look at my muscles ripping off the shirt, etc., etc. And like I can't think of any good episodes with Cole in, but with the other Rangers, I can possibly pull up like maybe one or two episodes that I can remember. But I think one of the biggest things that really lets it down is when you see in Forever Red, where he's like, yeah, I'm this, and then he takes down Serpent Terror, and there's no kind of explanation. I think that lets it down a bit. I just don't really like Cole. I think he's a bit of a character that I thought was a bit that you could easily replace him with someone else. That's how I see it. And if you're that as well, like if you're easily replaced, it means that you've not really captured the hearts of the fans. But again, that's just my opinion. That is my opinion on that one. Connor. Oh, okay. I'm gonna give him a B. Like, I like Connor, but I feel like his character could have had more. I feel like he could have been a well more developed character all the way through. Like, you see some elements that there are, like where he goes against Trent, where he tries to talk to Trent, but I feel like, again, he's there, but he's not a rememberable Ranger. Like, if that makes sense. Like, you know he's there, but you would focus more on Ethan or Kira or Tommy at least, or even Trent. Where Connor, I don't remember anything that really kind of put him ahead of the rest. So that's kind of my theory on that one. Is like, he's a good Ranger, but again, my thoughts go to more of the other Rangers in the series. Okay, so Shane, I'm gonna give him an A, because I feel like when you see all the Red Rangers and stuff, he wouldn't give up. Like, he went through the training, he went through a lot of kind of character developments, changes and stuff like that. But it was more kind of at the very end of Ninja Storm, where he's like, I don't care if I don't have my powers, I'm still gonna fight. Like, all the other Rangers would, but I feel like his statement was more kind of like forward than most. And I also kind of think that, he learned a lot as well through the series. And, when he's evil, dear God, he could absolutely solo most of the Rangers. But I feel like he was a very good character. I feel like he was decent enough to be an A. I think that's probably but not amazing, should I say. Good character development, but that's about it, really. Okay, so, it was Ninja Storm. Casey gets a C. I think because, again, he was a very bland character. He, in my eyes, wasn't the best. And again, like, when you think of Red Rangers, like, you kind of think, like, what quality could you have to step out to say you are this leader? And to me, I just generally kind of thought, no, like, he had the power, he did a few things, but to me, I generally wasn't a big fan of him. I just feel like he didn't step out a lot. Like, he was in the shadows of, like, some of the others. RJ absolutely, like, won that show for me. So, but for Casey, like, you see a bit of character development all the way through the series, but not enough for me to go like, oh God, you are like the most amazing Ranger ever. Okay, so then we've got Nick, because I know Mystic Force was way before that. Okay, so Nick, I'm going to give a D. Like, I do love Mystic Force, I really do. But I feel like Nick, like, the series was focused on him, but I don't see, again, anything that stands out with Nick. I feel like at the very beginning, he was very kind of like, me, I don't care. And then, obviously, as the series progressed, he was a little bit better. And then he was easily overtaken when it came to, like, when he became Korag, or the Night Wolf. But again, like, it doesn't really stand out. He's there, which is fine. But to me, not so much that I could be like, hey, like, you are one of my all-time favorite Rangers. So he gets a D. Okay, so who is next? Mac. I never liked Mac at all. Like, even through the series, like, you kind of want him to be the underdog, the shining gem from it all. But I think when you find out that he's an android, that he gives up so easily with his powers, I just think that he's not the Red Ranger to lead. And I feel like if he was in a team with all the others, no one would say anything. Like, he'd go like, oh, hey guys, like, this is what I think about this. What do you reckon? And everyone would just kind of ignore him. again, he was a very bland character in my eyes. And I just don't see him as a decent character. Like, there is nothing that screams out Red Ranger in my eyes. More like, you're kind of like Rocky. Okay, so Jaden. I'm gonna give you a C. Like, from what I remember, he was okay, but he wasn't how I kind of imagined a lot of stuff. Where he led the team, but again, everyone just seemed like it was very Shinkanger. Well, it was pretty much Shinkanger 100%. So I wasn't okay with this. I just don't really like Jaden. He is a really nice guy, like really, really nice guy in real life, and I could go drinking with him, but as a ranger, I didn't really like it that much. Okay. Oh, we forgot Nick. Nick was okay. I'll give him a B. Like, Nick, I thought was a decent overall character from where he was at the very beginning, where he's kind of like, I don't say like, I don't care about the rules, and then he kind of falls in line. I think one of the main episodes that kind of stands out is the one where he gets his team to do all the work and he just sits back and he's like, hey, like, I'm just relaxing. And it shows that he didn't have any kind of leadership and he didn't really care. But then he does kind of like change much later on. And when at the end where I think he is it like clothes business, like stuff where he wants to help people more, I generally really like that. So I do give him kind of a whole kind of like pass on that one. So I do like him. Although when I interviewed him, he wasn't nice. He was very like kind of, I don't want to be here. So, but B, I think, is a very good fit for him. Jack is his name, in case I forgot to say. Okay, so next we have Scott. I'm gonna give you a B. Like, I liked him, but I feel like, again, he at the very beginning he was very kind of more focused on a few things. Like he did a great like he led the team. Actually, does he? No, B is good. So he led the team. I liked it. I felt like he was a good fit for that ranger, where he would go against his father all the time if he didn't think it was right, and you could see that it wasn't in the right. So I liked that as a character, and he felt more like you could go and tell him your problems and say, hey, I need help, and he would be there for you, and he would help you through it. So I generally really kind of liked that. That to me was, I think, a really good character. And again, I would wholeheartedly have him on my team if I needed to fight evil monsters out there. Okay, so now we're coming into the last one. Okay, so Troy. I'm going to give him a B, and now a lot of people are going to be like, better than Tommy? Better than the rest? Now, hear me out on this one. Now, Troy, it wasn't the actor or the character, it was the way that he was written that was boring. But there is one element that he does, and it's because of the Gokaiger footage, is that when they're in the Megazord, let's say the Gokaiger one, like the Super Megazord, the Super Megaforce Megazord, the whatever it's called, there's a point at the very end where he gets like he teleports the Rangers out, or he forces them out of the Megazord because he's the one to sacrifice himself. And this kind of really put for me a thing like saying, yeah, that is fine. Now, if you remember back with Tommy as the White Ranger, and there's a part where the Thunderzords are getting destroyed, he then turns around and he doesn't care. He'd sacrifice his team's life, their powers, so that he could win the fight. And I didn't like that for it. Where Troy is like, he's written boringly, but it showed that he wouldn't leave a team member behind. Even though he mentions it like twice or 3 times, I still think that he's a better leader. But also, I think that with his powers, he's able to adapt to any sort of kind of fighting style. His body's able to adapt. He's able to go after people, and he's a good leader to some degree. So I think that he deserves a B. And everyone's like, oh my god, like, just rewatch the series. Take out the fact that he was written like that and just see his actions. His actions are a lot better than most of the Red Rangers. Okay, so Tyler, I'm gonna give a B as well. Only because like I feel like you had a drive for him all the way through, and as soon as he finds his dad and that's it, that the drive's over. Like he still wants to like fight, he still wants to do it, and I see him as a better leader. I think the way that he's written with Shelby is I would rather have Shelby be like, hey, I am like, I wish they got together rather than like kind of pussyfooting it around. But he was a very good leader in Dino Charge, and I think that he was a decent character all arc. So for me, I really enjoyed like watching his character, seeing how his character react, and he cared about his team. And that's what I generally liked, and I think he cared more about his team than most other Red Rangers. So for me, Tyler definitely gets a B. Okay, so Brody, D, just a very bland character. Just I think they tried to do the trope. Like they did the same thing like with Tyler. My dad's gone missing. How do I find it? Then they find the dad, and then again, just nothing talked about. But I generally think that he just was a bad character in general. Where there's points where he, how do I say, he just isn't Red Ranger material. I think that maybe for that series, yes, but I feel like his character didn't grow that much to me, and it just felt very like I don't know. It was also very naive at the same time, and I didn't like that. So again, I just couldn't stand him in it. So he gets a D. Actually, no, I'm going to put him in as not so amazing because I just didn't really find him that much of an interesting character. Okay, so I'm going to put Devon as A because I generally liked him, and I like the emotions that you see all the way through Beast Morphers. He didn't. No, I'm gonna put him as a B, only because just remembering, his character changed so much. It was more, I know I have to do this, this amazing thing, but then video games are more important, or I'm not going to be here to support you because I have this. And I feel like his character went up and down. Like I think it's in like the first or second episode where they're deciding to be who's the Red Ranger, and Devon seems to be the type of person like, yeah, cool, you've learned really quickly, wow, your character is amazing. And then the next episode, he's a massive dick, and then in the episode after that, he changes, he's great, and it kind of flops up and down a lot, and it really puts me off. Like in the team over with the rest of the Dino cast, he just turns around and he's just like, oh, I know this is a really big important thing, but I'm going to miss my video game tournament. And I feel like your character moves up and down too much, shows to me that you didn't write him well. Now, if this was at the very beginning, I could 100% understand it, but then it's just flip-flopping all the time. So I think Devon, even though he has really good intentions, I think that he deserves a B. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. Those are my thoughts on this. This is a long video already. So what do you think about my list of Red Rangers? Would you agree? Would you disagree? If you're going to disagree with me in a respectful manner, or I'll be a dick, which I mentioned at the beginning. So yeah, I'm going to leave this here. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments, and what would your Red Rangers be? If you make a tier list, link me to it. Send it over to the Facebook page with all the descriptions going to be in the bottom. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this sort of content and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.